American Motors introduces the Gremlin.
Hey, George! What is that? The Gremlin! Oh, move over! He's doing
On April 1st, 1970, American Motors introduced their new subcompact car to the North American market called the Gremlin, a low-cost American-made car designed to compete with the smaller, more fuel-efficient imported vehicles quickly gaining popularity in the North American market. Rivals Ford and GM both had new subcompact cars coming out for the 1971 model year, but AMC was able to beat them both to market. Despite its unique love-it-or-hate-it styling, the Gremlin sold well, especially with younger buyers, which was a market AMC targeted with this car. The styling is certainly unique, and the way this car looks is probably what it's most remembered for. It basically looks like someone just chopped the back off of AMC's compact car, the Hornet, and shortened the wheelbase. A bit of an oversimplification, but that's sort of what AMC did, with the Gremlin's design based on the Hornet's platform and both sharing many parts. I've always kind of liked the styling of the Gremlin. Maybe like is a bit of a strong word, but it's kind of funny looking and definitely looks like it's from the 70s. I do appreciate that despite its intention to be a small economy car, they weren't afraid to put in a V8 engine and offer some high-performance variations, with the Gremlin X appearance and equipment package being introduced in 1971, and a 5-liter V8 being available starting in 1972. In honor of the Gremlin turning 50, I thought I'd build an RC version using this AMC Gremlin X 1/25th scale model kit. I'll talk a little more about this project later, as I think a lot of you are really going to enjoy it. But first I want to give you all a detailed look at this model kit. To start, I really like the box art and how they show all the parts that are included on the back. This kit includes parts to build either a stock or modified version of the car. I found it interesting that blue tinted windows are included as an optional part. I don't think I'll be using them, but it's pretty cool that they included that as an option, and it's not something I've seen before. As with about all AMT kits I've built, they don't quite have as much detail as other brands, however all the parts looked very nice, especially the body, which is the most important piece. The kit's tires felt softer than what I'm used to, and I'd be tempted to use them if I didn't have plans to make my own. Another thing I like about this kit is the variety of exterior decals that they've included. Here's an overview of all the parts that are included. Everything looks well molded and should make for a great build. Of course, not all of these parts will be used for the build, but one part that certainly will be is the body. One thing that will be a challenge for this build is the small size of the Gremlin body. I've never built an RC car this small, so fitting all of the electronics might be difficult. Although comparing it to the 1/25th scale Camaro, it's not exactly a tiny car, and there should be a decent amount of room under the hood. It's always nice to be able to include an interior on any car I build, but if I'm unable to, it's alright. I have other priorities for this car. Since we've gotten a good look at the kit, I want to talk a bit about my plans for this car. I'm going to build this Gremlin to be a drag car. Some drag racing parts and STL files will soon be posted to Patreon, and I thought this Gremlin would be a cool car to use as a test bed. Sure, a big muscle car might seem like the obvious choice, but I figured I'd choose something a little different. Especially since I'd like to see if I can get the shorter wheelbase Gremlin to pop some wheelies. To build the car, I'm basically going to back half an FFR SC1 chassis. I'll keep the front half the same, probably building the same front suspension assembly I used on the 2010 Mustang, but I'll be cutting off the back section, either physically to an already printed chassis, or digitally before printing. For a while now, I've been working on some drag racing inspired 4-link rear suspension setups like this, which I'll be securing to the altered chassis. Of course, a narrower rear axle and wide rear tires will be used. If I'm able to include an interior on this car, I'll probably need to tub the rear to make room for the larger wheels, which shouldn't be too difficult. As far as paint and other cosmetic stuff, I'm not 100% sure what I'll do. Really, as long as it's fast, has fat rear tires, and maybe can even lift the front wheels up, I'll be happy. If you have ideas for what I should paint, let me know below in the comments. Anyways, that's all for this video. Keep an eye out for updates, especially if you're on Patreon. Happy April 1st, everyone, and thanks for watching.